What's up, traders? BMAC here with Dip Traders, and today we're going to talk about how to find stocks like LGVN here today. So LGVN opened the day around $8, and we've put in a high just a couple minutes ago up around 1950. So this is over a 100% move, well over a 100% move, and we're looking at, this was 10 o'clock that it started really gapping up, and then it made a high at 2 o'clock. So we're talking about a 4-hour span and almost 100% gains, or over 100% gains. So how do we find these stocks? These are called momentum stocks. So if you're a beginner trader, maybe intermediate trader, this video is probably going to be for you. If you're a more advanced trader, this might be a more basic concept, but basically we're going to cover the scans that I use to find stocks like this and basically put them on my radar so that I can trade them. Okay, so I think most people would argue that the most important thing when it comes to momentum stocks is understanding float. And float and momentum stocks kind of go hand in hand. So what is the float? Well, the float is the number of shares that you or I could trade. So when you think of a supply and demand equation, it's really the supply. So in this case, I see LGVN on my scan here. I'm looking at low float movers, and the float is 2.91 million. So that means that there are 2,900,000 shares available for LGVN. Now, 2.9 million shares available is actually a very low float. In fact, anything under 25 million would be considered a low float. Now, you can get these crazy moves. I'm talking 50%, 100%. You can get these moves on floats as high as 100 million or maybe even 200 million. The thing is, you need more volume to make those happen. So we can see with LGVN, this is trading about 1 million shares per minute and 3 million per 5 minutes. Now, that's almost half the float. So half the float that's available, the number of shares that are available, is trading every minute on LGVN, and that's what's causing these moves to be so extreme. It's simply supply and demand. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and show you the filters that I use to find these extreme movers. So there's 4 main filters that I use. The first one is current price. Just a simple current price filter. Me personally, I like to trade stocks that are between $1 and $30. So I have that filter set here. Now, if you like trading stocks that are over $30, and a lot of low float stocks are going to be within this range, some are more expensive, more than $30. If you want to trade those, that's fine. You can increase this to $50, $100, or really whatever you want to trade. Okay, so the next obvious filter is going to be the float. And in this case, I'm looking for only floats that are less than 100 million. Now, like I said before, you could expand this to look at 150 million or 200 million, but what you're going to get is more stocks that fit this criteria but aren't actually moving because they need to be trading excessive volumes. So what I like to do is keep it under 100 million, and then if I don't see anything on my scans, maybe I'll bump this up and see if there's anything extra that I can trade. And the last 2 things are all volume oriented. So if the float's less than 100 million, what I want to see is at least 300,000 shares of 1 minute volume, which means every minute it's trading 300,000 shares, or at least one of these minutes it's trading 300,000 shares. The next is the 5-minute volume. So in this case, I have that set to 600,000. So I want to see at least 600,000 shares over the past 5 minutes being traded, and this is just going to show me that there's demand for this stock, and I know because the float is lower that there is short supply. So assuming that demand stays steady, this stock has potential to continue riding that wave. And there's one more filter I want to show you, but before we get there, I actually built this scanner myself about 1.5 years ago to help me with my trading. There were very specific criteria that I wanted to filter for that I couldn't find in other traditional scanners, such as the 1-minute volume, the 5-minute volume, and then this final filter, which is volatility. So I use a proprietary technique for calculating volatility, and a lot of it is based on float rotations. So I'm looking at how frequently a float is rotating relative to its float. So if a float is super, super tiny, for example, like 1 million, that's a micro float. That's what we would call a micro float. I'm expecting that float to be rotating at least like once a minute or once every 5 minutes, okay? Now, if a float is 5 million or 25 million, then maybe I'm expecting it to be rotating, once every 30 minutes or hour. So I'm just throwing up numbers here, but basically volatility is going to take a look at the float rotations and put that against the float. So let's take a look at LGVN here, and if you come to this settings drop down, you can click volatility, which is behind my head. You can't actually see it, but I'm going to enable that column over here. And the volatility on LGVN right now is 128. So anything over 100 is very volatile. Anything over 200 or 300 is like insane, okay? Now, you can just filter on solely volume, and solely volatility, and I do have a filter set up for that. So this is what this filter looks like, and it looks like LGVN is sitting at 123 volatility, and then GTech is the next most volatile stock at the moment. So this is the diptraders.net scanner, and as I said, I built this tool about 1.5 years ago to help me find stocks to trade. Primarily focusing on momentum trading and momentum scalping. So if you are either of those two or looking to get into either of those two, this is going to be a great scanner for you. And even if you're not, even if you're just looking for pre-market gappers or you're looking for gap and goes, this is going to be perfect for that as well. So most of the features on the scanner are totally free to use. In fact, you don't even need an account to sign up. I hate when companies make you sign up for an account just to use the scanner. There is a premium tier which will give access to these news requests. So you can see why is a stock moving at any given time? Is there news behind it? And then also 20-second updates. So if you're a momentum scalper, you want to see what's moving, you want to be lightning quick to those plays, that's going to help as well. If you are interested in the premium tier of the scanner, I'm going to drop a promo code below. It's going to be Momentum. And if you see this video in the next, I think, week or so, we're running a Black Friday promotion. So the promotion code is simply Black Friday, and that's going to give you 33% off of all the products on the site. So thank you guys for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Really appreciate it, and good luck out there.